Let me describe something and tell me if it sounds familiar. You wake up already tired. You go through your day doing what you're supposed to do. Working, showing up, being productive, being responsible, being whatever everyone around you needs you to be. And by the time you finally stop, you feel completely hollow, not just physically tired, something deeper than that. Like you've been performing all day and the person performing isn't actually you. You've tried fixing it. You've tried sleep and therapy and journaling and cutting out caffeine and working out and setting boundaries. And some of that helps, temporarily. But the exhaustion keeps coming back because it's not coming from your schedule. It's coming from misalignment. There's a concept in astrology that I believe is one of the most practically useful things you can understand about yourself right now, especially in a world that is constantly pressuring you to be something specific. It's called the rising sign. And if you've been living in opposition to yours, which most people have, because nobody ever told them what it actually means, it is quietly draining your energy every single day. Let me explain exactly what I mean. What the rising sign actually does to your energy. Most people think of the rising sign as just a style thing, how you come across, your first impression. And yes, it does influence that, but that description misses the most important part entirely. Your rising sign is your energetic interface with the world. It's the mode your nervous system was designed to operate in. It determines how you naturally process experience, how you instinctively respond to stress, and what kind of environment allows you to function at your best, versus what kind of environment slowly grinds you down. When you are living in alignment with your rising sign, when your daily life, your work, your relationships, and the way you show up all have some resonance with your Ascendant's energy, you experience something that most people have forgotten is even possible. Effortlessness. Not the absence of hard work, but the sense that the work comes from you rather than being done to you. When you are living against your rising sign, when the role you're playing in life belongs to someone else's chart, you feel it as chronic exhaustion, as anxiety that doesn't have a clear cause, as the persistent sense that you are working twice as hard as everyone else just to maintain a version of yourself that was never really yours to begin with. This is not a small thing. This is where burnout actually starts. How society programs you against your rising sign. Here's the part nobody talks about, and this is where it gets uncomfortably real. From the moment you were born, the world started shaping you into something. Your family had expectations. Your school had a template. Your culture had a definition of success. Social media gave you thousands of versions of who you should want to become and how you should want to look getting there. Almost none of that was designed around your rising sign. A Pisces, rising child, built for depth, sensitivity, and creative immersion, gets put in a high-performance academic environment and told to be more focused, more structured, more productive. And so they spend 20 years building a Capricorn rising life inside a Pisces rising soul, and they wonder why they feel like they're drowning. An Aquarius rising adult, wired for independent thinking, nonconformity, and collective vision, gets hired into a corporate structure that rewards compliance and punishes originality. And so they perform, every day, exhaustingly, until something breaks, the anxiety epidemic. The burnout crisis. The record numbers of people in their 30s and 40s quietly dismantling their entire lives because something feels fundamentally wrong. These are not just economic or political phenomena. They are, at least in part, a crisis of misalignment. Millions of people living in the wrong energetic signature, and having no language for why. Each rising sign and its authentic energy. Let's go through each rising sign, but this time, not just what it means. What it needs to stop burning out. What it looks like when it's finally free. Aries rising needs autonomy. Aries rising burns out in environments that require constant compromise, approval-seeking, or political navigation. They need the freedom to act decisively and move fast. When they're free, they are unstoppable initiators. When they're caged, they turn their fire inward and call it anxiety. Taurus rising needs stillness and sensory peace. Taurus rising burns out in chaotic, fast-paced, always-on environments. They were not built for urgency culture. They need rhythm, beauty, and physical comfort to function at their best. When they're free, they create things of extraordinary lasting value. When they're depleted, they go numb and call it laziness. Gemini rising needs variety and stimulation. Gemini rising burns out in repetitive, monotonous environments where they are expected to do the same thing the same way indefinitely. Their nervous system requires novelty. When they're free, they are the most brilliant connectors and communicators in the room. When they're trapped, they scatter and call it inability to focus. Cancer rising needs emotional safety. Cancer rising burns out in cold, performance-driven environments where emotions are treated as liabilities. They need warmth, trust, and a sense of genuine belonging to access their full capacity. When they're free, they are the most powerfully intuitive and caring leaders imaginable. When they're depleted, they withdraw and call it weakness. Leo rising needs authentic self-expression. Leo rising burns out when forced to stay small, stay quiet, or dim their light to make others comfortable. They came here to shine, not out of ego, but because that light is genuinely meant to warm others. When they're free, they are magnetic, generous, and transformatively inspiring. When they're suppressed, they perform emptily and call it imposter syndrome. Virgo rising needs meaningful contribution. Virgo rising burns out when their work feels pointless or their contribution goes unacknowledged. They need to see the tangible impact of what they do. When they're free, they are extraordinarily precise, healing, and genuinely indispensable. When they're depleted, they overanalyze everything and call it perfectionism. Libra rising needs genuine partnership and beauty. Libra rising burns out in discordant, ugly, or deeply unequal environments. They need aesthetic harmony and authentic reciprocity to thrive. When they're free, they are extraordinary mediators, creators, and relationship architects. When they're depleted, they people please until they disappear and call it being easygoing. Scorpio rising needs depth and authenticity. Scorpio rising burns out faster than almost any other sign in shallow, surface-level environments where nothing real is ever said. They need depth, honesty, and the permission to go to the dark places. When they're free, they are transformative healers and the most powerful agents of change in any room. When they're depleted, they implode and call it self-destruction. Sagittarius rising needs expansion and meaning. Sagittarius rising burns out in small, rigid, meaningless environments where the horizon never changes. They need growth, purpose, and the sense that what they're doing connects to something larger than the immediate. When they're free, they are visionary teachers and explorers. When they're depleted, they escape and call it commitment issues. Capricorn rising needs respect and real progress. Capricorn rising burns out in disorganized, purposeless environments where effort isn't recognized and nothing is built to last. They need to see genuine progress toward something meaningful. When they're free, they are the most quietly powerful builders and leaders of any generation. When they're depleted, they overwork until they collapse and call it dedication. Aquarius rising needs freedom to be different. Aquarius rising burns out faster than almost anyone in conformist environments that punish original thinking. They were not built to fit in. They were built to show a different way. When they're free, they are revolutionary innovators who change the systems everyone else is trapped in. When they're depleted, they detach completely and call it not caring. Pisces rising needs creative and spiritual space. Pisces rising burns out in hyper-rational, productivity-obsessed environments that leave no room for intuition, imagination, or mystery. They need space to dream, to feel, to create, and to connect to something beyond the visible. When they're free, they are extraordinary artists, healers, and spiritual guides. When they're depleted, they dissolve into others and call it having no identity. If this video made something click, if some part of you recognized yourself in what I just described, then I want to offer you something concrete. Moon. Reading generates a free, deeply personalized astral reading based on your exact date of birth. It explores your rising sign, your moon, your emotional patterns, and the specific shape of your soul's design, in language that is clear, personal, and genuinely useful. not a generic horoscope. Not a vague description that could apply to anyone. A reading that's built around you specifically, and that gives you real language for what you've been feeling. The link is in the description and pinned in the comments. It's free. It takes 2 minutes, and it might be the most clarifying thing you do today. You are not broken. You are misaligned. There's a difference, and this is where you start finding your way back.